bloodlust is live. Welcome to Trackmania Tuesday. That's right. Thank you everyone for being here. This is week 58. Trackmania shorts. Unfortunately, I'm feeling like garbage. My sickness did not subside over the weekend. I was hoping it would, but it's not getting any better at this point, so... Well, I did get better, at least I can breathe now, but... My face is a little messed up. I feel like garbage. Still having to wipe my nose constantly and stuff. I apologize. So we're gonna try to get into it. We're probably going to have a semi-short stream today. Just do the review and a quick run of the tracks from this week. So, yeah, sorry, I'm definitely out of it. Not prepared for the stream really at all. I didn't sleep the greatest last night. And still not feeling very good right now. So, we're going to get into the review. Week 57. I did actually put a fair amount of effort into last week's tracks. I enjoyed a couple of them. The first track was a lot of fun, really easy, kind of transitional track. Requires a fair amount of precision. Wants you to skip the grass as much as possible. We're gonna get rid of the phasmophobia eyeballs counter there. Give me one moment. I apologize. As I said, I am still not feeling the greatest, and I'm trying not to be indecent on camera as much as possible. So you'll have to. Hello. Welcome to the stream. Thanks for popping in. Habayana. I like it. That sounds fun. Alright, so we're going to get into week 57. We're going to check out the records for last week. Of course, as always, we start out with, just a free run of the track, get an idea of what the track looks like, and talk about it a little bit, see, if we can kind of pinpoint some strategies of our own before we look at the world record and see exactly how they did it. Sometimes they come up with some crazy stuff. We'll just view the replay here. We see this is my fastest run. Cutting the corners on the grass there. Nice, low, super low landing, hitting that road section as early as possible, and trying to keep all tires in contact on that slope there at the gate. This is probably the simplest track of the week. Ahoy! What's up, Natalie? Thank you for being here. As always, it is great to see you. So we're going to do one quick run on it, or maybe a couple. Try to get a feel for it. I have not played any Trackmania since probably Thursday. Well, not Thursday. Yeah, maybe Thursday? It might have been Saturday. I don't remember. I've had a really long and somewhat rough weekend. So you want to get a nice low landing there. Try to get as tight to the edge of that section of grass as possible. And you want to skip all of that grass if you can. So you want to turn early, get a head start on this section. Nice low landing there. Of course, you want to land straight, otherwise you'll lose a ton of speed. You want to get a nice low landing onto that section of the pavement, as I did not. Skip the fencing. Almost a little over half a second behind. We'll try one more time here. Try to get a nice run on it. There we go. Low landing. Lost some speed. That's okay. We run it. hit the grass a little bit. That was rough. One more time. We got this. Thank you again for being here. We do Trackmania Tuesday weekly reviews every week. We have been doing this since week 10. I went back and verified. Natalie is correct. We have been doing this since week 10, which honestly is kind of mind-blowing to me. Didn't realize that I started that long ago, but we've been at this for almost a year at this point. Another 4 weeks until we've been doing the reviews for a year. So maybe we'll do something special for the year in review or yearly review or something, you know, a year of review. So that was kind of gives you an idea of what the track looks like. Excuse me. This is track 1, Fading Horizon, week 50. We're going to look at the records. We got Beast Mode 123737, number 1 Rialo fan, In Glare, Dreams, and Walking Cat. We're going to start, of course, with the bottom 3. We got Beast Mode here. Nice tight turn to the left there. In Glare with the RC car. Nice tight against every section of grass. They cut that corner there super low into this transition. Really tight across that corner and keeping contact all the way through the slope. Just super nice and clean all the way through. Just cutting that corner just a tiny bit. Barely touching that section of grass. And really nice low transition there. You can see my car just behind him. Just behind him. I'm actually only 0.2 behind, not even a full 0.2 behind the world record, and I'm barely inside the top 3,000. If that gives you any idea how close these records are. We got a 0.458, 0.450, and 0.447, and the top 3 is even closer than that. So, nice, beautiful run there by Beast Mode, number 1 Rialo fan, In Glare. Not really a ton to say here. We basically did exactly everything that they did. Again, you can see me, I'm basically right up to where they are until this transition. They land a little bit lower and they have a tighter turn there and just slightly straighter into the finish. Beautiful run. So we're gonna go with In Glare and Dreams from Dreams' perspective with In Glare behind. Dreams is number 2. With a 0.446, literally 1,000 ahead of him. Looks like Dreams is actually behind going into the transition, and they straighten out into the slope and somehow managed to catch just a tiny bit more speed there before the finish line and get in like a pixel ahead for a 1,000 improvement. In Glare actually had the slightly better run, but caught just the bittiest little of airtime on their left side down that slope, which slowed them down ever so slightly, ever so slightly. You can see there, just the tiniest bit their left tires lift up as they go across that transition. That was In Glare and Dreams, and now let's go with In Glare, or Dreams and Walking Cat. These are the top 2. Walking Cat starts out ahead, but goes a little wide into the first turn. Across the first checkpoint, tighter across this section. They're pretty much even going into the transition. Walking Cat has a nice smooth line there and takes the tiniest right shift into the finish line to get to the earlier part of the finish, which gives them 3,000ths of improvement. Again, super close record on this one. This is a very close battle. Not really a ton of improvements to be made here. It's really just all about all the way through. Very nice, beautiful work by Walking Cat, Dreams, In Glare, number 1 Rialo fan, and Beast Mode. Usually we spend a little bit more time kind of breaking down and analyzing the track, but that was just a super easy one. Not really a lot to go over there. So we're moving on to track 2, 3 seasons. This one, I had kind of a hard time with. I played the weeklies with some viewers last week, and we did an open hobby, and they showed me that there is a shortcut. You can go through this section and jump between these two trees. I just want to get it once. I suck at it, but if I can just get it once just to show you. If you hit the right angle of the parabola there at the base of the hill, you can actually go through this at full speed, but I'm gonna have to slow down. It seems like I have made it at full speed a couple of times, but you gotta get literally just the perfect angle there. Okay, nice. And then, oh, I messed it up. But if you can slip between that bush and the tree, the cherry tree there on the right side, and you get a straight line into the first checkpoint, and it doesn't really seem like much of an improvement to me, but one of the people that was in, yeah, I almost made it there, but then you shoot the gap, you make it through here, and you go across. Of course, I did the route all the way around here. I would assume likely the intended route. Go this way, try to skip as much of that grass as possible, and of course you want to avoid airtime there if you can. Get as much speed, air brake as you're going up there, because if you nose down, of course you're gonna bonk off the front end of that plastic block just before the finish. You want to skip as much of that sand as you can. Try to skip a fair amount of that grass too. If you can get the right angle, you can kind of wobble yourself and bounce across that grass and reduce your friction, of course. And go air brake and just barely make it to the other side of that. Nice, easy run there. Managed to make it to number 24 in Oregon, but that's not even in the top 5,000 in the world. So we're gonna go look at the records here. We got, again, number 1 Rialo fan, Giuliano, Cassius, Venus. Welcome. Thanks for popping in. Thank you for the follow. The real Justin. How's it going, man? Appreciate you popping in. And Turtle TM. Again, number 1 Rialo fan, Giuliano, Cassius, Venus, and Turtle TM. For the top 5, and they're a little over a second ahead of me, so they must have taken that shortcut and gotten a really nice smooth line into the finish. So we're going to check it out from number 1 Rialo's fan perspective. Number 1 Rialo fans perspective, and they go full speed around that parabola, just as I said, through the tree there, tight line there, keeping all of their speed, nice angle into that section, and using, that's interesting. I saw one of our viewers do that line, but to see all 3 of them doing that line, going to the left side and cutting back into the nearer finish, that seems like kind of a rough line. Number 1 Rialo fan with 503 on the back of his car. Wondering what that stands for. 503 is actually a local area code to me. Number 1 Rialo fan, Cassius and Giuliano. You can see number 1 Rialo fan is a little behind them here, but it looks like the goal there is to go straight across that plastic section as much as possible to build up more speed. Of course, plastic allows you to accelerate faster. Entire stream has no audio. You may need to reset, because I definitely can hear the audio. Sometimes just backing out and restarting the stream and fix that. I apologize for the issue. Hello and welcome. Thank you. So that was number 1 Rialo fan, Giuliano Cassius, with 14.548, number 1 Rialo fan, 14.528 Giuliano, and a 14.504 for Cassius. And we're gonna go from Venus perspective here, with Cassius behind him, And again, they go across that section through the tree. Looks like they're even going into the first checkpoint. Looks like Cassius is slightly ahead, but Venus has a tighter turn going into that section and straighter across the plastic and keeps slightly more contact into the finish there. I was thinking that bounce that the bottom three did there was probably suboptimal. Maybe it lost a little bit of speed, but with the way that you're going across that, it's kind of hard not to bounce. So I mean, regardless, good job. They're in the top 5. You can't really say much against that. Being in the top 5, regardless, is quite the achievement. Hello, Justin. Yes, being here. Sorry, I apologize. In any case, that was Cassius and Venus. Cut. Would you? Any track that has a major cut, Venus is going to try to get themselves in the top 5 on that, of course. That is part of their whole shtick. We got Turtle TM Venus here. Looks like Turtle TM. Actually, let's go from Turtle TM's perspective with Venus. Turtle TM doing a little wiggle down that first section, keeping slightly more contact and maintaining a bit more speed. They are way behind Venus going into the last checkpoint, but they keep more speed through that downhill plastic section and carry it into the finish. Get a really big bounce there, staying at the peak of the hill and gaining just a tiny bit more speed through that plastic and getting in there 2/10 ahead. Not even 2/10, like a tenth and a half. Venus with a 14.493. Turtle TM with a 14.477. Not really a ton to say here. That wiggle looks like that did gain them quite a bit of speed there. That bounce seemed a little dangerous going into the first checkpoint, but they managed to maintain it and carried a ton of speed into the finish, getting them the record. Well done to Turtle TM. www.venus.cut, Cassius, Giuliano, and Deborah. Again, really not a lot to say here, other than I am kind of surprised that they managed to keep so much speed through the cut there, just because they bounced their front end, so they reduced the friction across the grass, which kept so much more speed, and they gained a full second on me, so that's well done. In any case, well done to everybody there. Top 5, great work. Well, thank you again, Justin, for being here. Now that you can hear, I appreciate you. Thanks for the follow, man. How are you doing? Are you enjoying this week's tracks? I have not checked them out yet. Of course, I wait till Tuesday. I try not to spoil it for myself or the stream. So again, that was 3 seasons, week 57, track 2. I'm not feeling the greatest right now. I have been sick kind of for almost a week now, so we're just trying to get through it. This one, I had a lot of problems with. I was told, or I was informed rather, that this is the best path. Now, this is a very interesting path. You can see it has the snow car gate here, but if you hit it just right sometimes, don't know why or how this works, it seems particularly random, but if you go through this gate, occasionally it won't activate and you'll stay as a stadium car. Again, don't know why or how that works, but it does. We're gonna keep doing this until we can get it to work once. And if you stay more towards there we go, see. So you can occasionally keep the stadium car, and you go across this ice section. You got to get a really smooth landing there, which is not particularly easy, to be honest. Especially when you got these icy tires there on the other side, it's going to be really hard to control it into the finish because the ice stays on your tires for a long period of time. It almost seems better to go with the snow car, but the best path that I found was to go this way. And if you go a little wide here, you can build up more speed and you get a nice nose down into that section. Get a nice nose down there. That was a lot of airtime. Then we go across here, and nice smooth line here. Try to go as smoothly as we can across this grass section. Keep all of our speed and into the finish. That was the fastest route that I personally found. But I, again, was informed that this is not the best route. I tried really hard to do the snow car route and keep the stadium car. I tried several different routes. I tried a couple of transfers, and I personally had a really hard time with this one. Usually I do pretty well at the Pathfinder tracks. I really enjoy the Pathfinders. You know, kind of like a puzzle. Makes you think about it, and you got to work for the best route. But yeah, this one was a little rough. At least for me, I had troubles with it, especially with the randomness of this gate. RNG stuff kind of messes with me. I just don't, I mean, like, I don't like being at the mercy of RNGs, you know? Oh, there we go, we got it again. So occasionally, you can go, like, 1 in 5 you can go through there, and you will stay stadium car. A couple of times I've gotten to do it back to back, but it's really hard to get that, and I don't know what exactly the trigger is or why or how it works. It might just have slightly to do with your speed. Like if you can go through it quickly enough, it'll cancel it. It could possibly have something to do with that other gate, the right here, the booster, that counteracts it or kind of overrides it, because they have both gates here like touching each other. It seems like if you get the snow car, then you don't get the booster, so that might actually be what's going on. Like, you get one or the other and not both, and if you do it at a high enough speed, you get the speed gate instead of the transition. But in any case, we're gonna look at the records here. We got JMCQ, Eric Zamor, Millen, Horny, and Giuliano. Horny and Giuliano have been pretty consistently in the top 5 for a lot of them. There isn't a snow car gate on the bottom of the slope. Now that actually is not true. If you go across here, you can see that, oh, you are actually correct, okay. Or maybe I just got lucky there, but I have gone through this several times, and yeah, see, I went down the bottom and it turned me into snow car. There is a snow car gate on the bottom. They have 2 of them like flipped over. Yeah, if you go through the bottom, you can still change into the snow car. I kind of clipped the edge of the other one there. We'll go to the real slow here, and you can see I did change into the snow car. There is a snow car gate on the bottom. Yeah. In any case, going back to the records here. JMCQ, Eric Zamor, Millen, Horny, and Giuliano. We're going to start from JMCQ's perspective and see what they did. They do, in fact, go to the right through the snow car gate, and they keep the stadium car nice tight line through the dirt or through the wood there, and wow, what a line. So they actually ice slide up the wall of the bobsleigh section here and launch themselves into the finish. Well done. JMCQ actually out ahead for the entire run here. You can see they get a ton of distance there ahead of everybody else, but they hit the ice a little hard and they get into the finish there late. didn't keep quite as much speed as the other two. Eric Zamora and Millen managing to get in there slightly ahead. Looks like they probably had a smoother land. Let's see what actually is going on with Eric Zamora here. Eric Zamora and Millen both going through, keeping their stadium car. Millen getting a bit more speed through that section, and of course, yes, they do get a much smoother landing into the bobsleigh. Millen landing lower onto the final platform and earlier into the finish. Well done. I thought about it so many times. I was like, there's got to be a way to like cut that somehow, right? Because once you come out of the bobsleigh, you have icy tires, and it makes it so you basically have no grip across the dirt there. So it's really hard to maintain. Well done by JMCQ, Eric Zamora and Millen there. Let's see what's up with Corny, with Millen behind. Corny and Millen, looks like Corny going pretty smooth across here, nice, straight through each section as much as possible. That ice slide is interesting, and they go backwards. Corny always with the wildest methods. Excuse me. Corny always managing to come up with the craziest stuff. Pretty much anytime that you see Corny in the records, you're gonna see something different. Corny doing a full 180 and clipping their back tire on that edge to force them towards the finish, and going through backwards is impressive indeed, because they were in fact behind the whole time up until right at the finish line. Managed to get in there 400s ahead of Millen, but Giuliano is only ahead here by 1/10. In fact, not even 1/10, they're ahead by 7,000. So we see Giuliano going a little bit wider to the right there, keeping more speed into the bobsleigh section, booping up, and just had a ton of speed into the finish. Corny is the only one that did the wild 180 into the finish, but it worked for him. Corny always got some unique methods, and they usually pay off, of course, making it into the top 5 pretty regularly. This is it's kind of an interesting track. I did not love it. It wasn't my favorite of the Pathfinders, but it was fun. Good job there to Giuliano, Corny, Millen, Eric Zamora, and JMCQ. 14,758, 14,725, 14,709, 14,662, and 14,655. Not quite as close as the first couple of tracks, but still pretty close. Moving on, that was Orange Winter Mix, track 3 of week 57. We are now on Pink Jet, track 4, and we're gonna do one run on this one. This one is super simple. Basically, the idea is just to try to maintain full grip and slide as little as possible through each section, which is difficult. Once you hit this kind of speed, you basically get forced into a slide around every corner. But as the name implies, you kind of get jetted across the track, and everything has a pink hue to it, so it is Pink Jet, very aptly named, of course. Nice low line there, but then we don't get quite as nice of a turn through the first checkpoint, so there's a lot of balance there. Lots of different methods to try to maintain your speed through this section. I tried really hard to make an improvement on this track, but my personal best is pretty much as good as I think I'm gonna get it. I can get a slightly better start, but getting through this section is probably the most difficult part. That first turn right there is really hard to get through without sliding out. Of course, again, with the speed, it kind of forces you sideways. You're just going so fast through this section. Again, once you hit that kind of speed, it's hard not to slide. The car kind of just forcibly goes into a slide just because you have so much angular momentum. Oh, that was actually a little bit faster than my previous attempts. But pretty simple track. Again, these are all really simple shorts. Some of them have a lot to go over, but these ones are really straightforward. We got Turtle TM, Thin HD, Hedge, Dreams, and Nike TV. We're gonna go from Turtle TM's perspective, of course, to start. Turtle TM with a 17.827, Thin HD with a 17.825, so they go nice and straight through this section. Beautiful speed slide all the way through the first checkpoint into the second checkpoint and straight into the finish there. Or, well, actually that was the second checkpoint. So through the first checkpoint, maintaining their speed, and they break into a beautiful speed slide all the way through that section into the second checkpoint, carrying it all the way through. Again, speed sliding through that last section, but somehow Thin HD and Hedge managed to catch up. You don't even see Hedge, he's so far behind to begin with, but he manages to pick up so much speed here in just these last two turns. It actually rockets him ahead there. Hedge somehow just gaining a huge burst of speed right at the end. Let's go from Hedge's perspective here with Turtle TM and Thin ahead. Hedge getting a massive bonk there. Really far behind to start with here, but beautiful, again, speed slide going into the second checkpoint there. Going really straight through that last section and just carrying a ton of speed into the finish. It's honestly surprising that Hedge managed to catch up so much that he overtook both of them into the finish there. It's sort of hard to believe, actually. Just barely missing that pillar, making it into the finish line there. That bump at the start, though, that seems like that would pretty much kill your run immediately, but he kept going, and it paid off somehow. Got 800, 820, 830, so much speed. What up? The Bald Nerd is raiding. What's up, buddy? Hey, man. Thank you again. How was your stream, man? Appreciate you so much. Heck yeah, you're awesome. We're just doing our review of last week's tracks. We're gonna get into our discovery here soon. What up, Echo? Thank you everybody for being here. Doing pretty good. I'm a little sick. Trying to push through it. We're gonna have somewhat of a short stream today. We're probably just gonna do a couple of runs on the new tracks, and once we finish our reviews here, I'm not feeling the greatest, but I appreciate you being here. Greatly appreciate you, man. You are awesome. Thank you again for the raid. So we got Hedge and Dreams here from Dreams' perspective. Again, Dreams so far ahead, you don't even see Hedge behind him. But Hedge just managed to catch so much speed there into the finish. Just barely catching up before the end. Dreams with a nice straight line across there, keeping contact into the first checkpoint, actually maxing out his speed across that booster there. Beautiful speed slide, perfect speed slide, and right into the finish there. Dreams just going straight across. Little bit of speed slide there, and hitting the perfect angle across the second checkpoint. Nice and straight there. Just the tiniest bit of a break. Beautiful, well done. Some weird maps. Yeah, I have not looked at the maps yet this week, but I have heard that they are unique in some ways. That was Hedge and Dreams. Let's go with Nike TV here. Of course, from Nike's perspective, with Dreams behind, looks like Nike goes a little bit straighter through that first section, but loses contact with their left tires. A little bit of a wiggle into the first checkpoint. Perfect speed slide all the way through that first checkpoint, and they just catch so much speed and maintain it all the way into the finish. Once again, not a ton to say about this, but they do have a fair amount of nuance to these runs. Beautiful speed slide all the way through that first turn, and then straight into the finish there, wiggling a little bit, just breaking into that speed slide as much as possible, picking up as much speed as they can through every section. Well done. Absolutely incredible. Nike managing to get ahead and just maintained it all the way into the finish. Once again, well done to Nike TV, Dreams, Hedge, Thin HD, and Turtle TM. Tried some under 5 seconds. Is that a new campaign or a custom campaign? I have not seen that. It sounds like it might be pretty intense. Finishing a track in 5 seconds is like all boosters. That was Pink Jet, week 57, track 4. We're gonna go ahead to the next one here. Last track of week 57. This one I enjoyed a lot. Mini golf is actually a ton of fun. It's really about your angle. Through each section, you want to get just the right angle because you get no grip when you go across the grass here. So you want to get just the right angle, and you can see I booped myself off of that corner, which set me up for a much better line. We're gonna do, of course, one quick run of it here. It's probably a bad angle, but we're gonna take it. Oh, no, dang. It's kind of random because of the no grip when you hit the grass, but of course it is the point is to simulate mini golf, which is kind of a unique thing. I've never seen a track like this before, but it is fun. And you want to get just the right angle through that section so you can miss that bounce, otherwise it slows you down a lot. You can see how much I gained there. You want to try to miss that corner, but I did in fact manage in my PB. You can see I did manage to just boop that corner, and it set me up to hit that last wall earlier, which gave me a nicer line. If you actually just straight missed it, let's see if I can get a run here where I actually missed that corner. Nope, dang. But if you actually just go straight through and you miss that corner, it actually kind of sets you up to hit the wall through that tunnel there. You'll end up hitting it right about here, and it slows you down even more. Once again, you're on sand there, so not really the most forgiving section of the track. I love this map too, yeah. Hitting your front bumper on the wall was better. Yes. Yeah, oh, okay, you mean so just going straight into it does it because it sets you up. Oh, I see. So you don't have to turn. Okay, good call, good call. So yeah, it kind of sets you up for that angle, like preemptively. And you kind of actually go a little bit faster. That's interesting. You get more of a bonk off of your front bumper than your back bumper. I don't know why I didn't even try that. That's just dumb on my part, I guess. Good call. Yeah. No, I definitely, yeah, this is one of the best maps. I enjoyed the crap out of it. I didn't get the greatest score, but I did many attempts. Probably close to 1,000 attempts on this one. I'm not even kidding. I spent like a whole night just playing this track. It is a lot of fun, honestly. Just the like kind of semi-random nature of it. And I like mini golf anyway. Okay, now there we go. You can see if you miss that corner, it actually sends you into the center of the arch. So the fact that I bumped my front end off of the corner of that previous wall right there actually set me up for a much better line, and it was totally unintentional too. Yo, what up, Wills, man? We got everybody in chat today. How's it going? Welcome, welcome. We're just going over our review here. We're on the last track, mini golf. We got Limon, Coin 360, Akubne, Fusical, and Crazy Dude Crook. We're gonna start with Limon, Coin, and Akubne. From Limon's perspective, hitting his front bumper kind of aggressively, and interesting line there, and they ride the plastic. That kind of broke my brain a little bit. There's a lot going on there. So they bug slide there to set them up for this section, and then they ride their nose up on the plastic. If you ride, like if you do kind of like a wall ride across plastic, it will gain you speed, but that whole line is they bump off of that corner and it sends them into the right side. That is a wild line. That bug slide is interesting. And then, yeah, riding up on the plastic there, wow. The fact that Lemon ended up behind, he was actually so far ahead of them here. So far ahead, but he actually had more speed than they did, which sent him further. Unfortunately, actually having more speed is what made him behind, because he got sent further and landed later, whereas Coin and Akubne, or just Aku, we'll call him Aku, managed to land a little bit sooner. Let's go from Akubne's perspective with Coin behind him here, because I was really close, but they're pretty far. It looks like Coin and Akubne are like merged there through the first checkpoint into the second checkpoint. They're really close, and Akubne with a nice low landing, nose down there. There is a red booster in here. Yes, yes. Grass is actually ice. So okay, speed while sideways on ice. Yeah, okay, okay. So like in combination of the ice and the plastic wall ride. I see, I see. So that's why they go sideways the whole way, actually. Interesting. Still, that bug slide is pretty wicked. Just the tiniest bit of a bug slide there sets them up for that finish there. Dang. Let's go from a Fusical's perspective with Akubne behind here. Looks like, again, they're pretty much merged here. A Fusical, whoa! Whoa, buddy! You need to calm down. Fusical doing some crazy stuff. Bug slide into this corner, bonking off of that wall, but it actually rocked him over the sand, which allowed him to skip it, reducing his friction through that section, and then bonking off of the rock. Like, what is happening here? That is a wild run. The fact that the bottom three actually had such a different run there, and he did his own thing and managed to get in there 300ths ahead even. Crazy, barely missing that that log there holding that lantern. Crazy. So let's go Crazy Dude Crook here with a Fusical behind. Looks like they have pretty much the same start. Everybody has just about the same start. Crazy Dude Crook with a little bit of a tighter line there and doing the same thing the other three did. But again, just getting in there a tiny bit sooner, landing a bit closer. Nice speed across that section. beautiful run. A Fusical, though, with definitely the most unique run out of everybody on this track. Nice bug slide early into that corner, but bonking that wall, and then off of the rock into second place. Honestly, the fact that he landed so close into that finish might actually just be the whole reason why he got there. Yeah, sends them up the tiny grass hill instead of driving up the grass. Right, yeah. They kind of bounce over it. I was noticing that, yeah. Well done to everybody. A Fusical with just such a unique line here, though. And again, because he lands so early into the finish, I think is really just what got him there before everybody else. But Crazy Dude Crook with almost exactly 100th of an improvement. Excellent work. I really enjoyed this track. I would love to see more tracks like this. Even if it's just more mini golf tracks. Bring on more mini golf tracks, please. This is a great track. I enjoyed the crap out of it. It was a lot of fun. This is the kind of track that you could enjoy with your friends. You know what I mean? Like, you could bring in friends that have no idea what Trackmania is and just send them off on this track. And like, it is so different, so like detached from the rest of the game. Like, it's so unique and such a fun experience. I really feel like this could be like the perfect couch co-op kind of track. I greatly enjoyed it. Definitely well done to the creator. I didn't actually see who the creator of this track was, but well done once again to everybody there. That was Limon, Coin360, Akubne, Ifusical, and Crazy Dude Crook. Excellent work, excellent runs. I learned a little bit actually off of that one. It's getting kind of a rarer thing where I learn. That was Awesome Duck 17. It's becoming rarer and rarer that I learn actually actually learn a new kind of skill or technique off of these tracks, but that definitely did show me something that I was not quite aware of. Nice to see it. That was a lot of fun. Week 57 is one of the best so far. I would definitely place it in the top 5 of weekly shorts weeks. Lots of great tracks here. Enjoyed the crap out of it. Track 3, not my favorite, but the other 4 were well done. Oh, and we forgot, we got, for the points records, we got Giuliano in first place with 58,536. Turtle TM in second place, just behind him with 56,000. Dreams with 48,000. Crazy Dude Crook, 47. And Nike TV with 45,000. Now we're moving on to week 48. We're going to start with Snowfall by Feedard. Thank you again, everybody, for being here. I hope you all are having a wonderful week. Enjoying this, what's a good word? Tantalizing Tuesday. Yeah, there you go. I like it. We're gonna drive alone here, checking out Snowfall. I'm gonna go tight through this section. Oh, this is an interesting, okay. Lots of slopies. You gotta try to counteract the slopies as much as possible, keeping as much contact as you can through each section here. Oh, and you might be able to get a mudslide there into the finish. Okay. Try to go tight through this section. Interesting, interesting. So actually we might want to go to this side. Yeah, okay. So we want to go to the far side on this one. Try to keep our contact there. Nice, there we go. Okay. Keeping our contact low through this section. Didn't really mean to jump, but that's okay. We got more speed here. Keeping contact on the slope and a little bit of a mudslide. Kind of almost a bug slide. And we get the author medal. Author medals are pretty easy, usually on the weekly shorts. Snowfall. Still not even in the top 100 in Oregon, though. We like to try to at least get in the top 50 in our state before we move on. So maintaining our contact there. Try to maintain our contact through that section. A little bit tighter through that. And then... oh, nope. Lost a lot of speed on that right there. Snow slows you down quite a bit. It's almost as bad as sand. Okay, nice, nice. Good contact. Whoop. And we make it in exactly 0.1 ahead. Just barely inside the top 100. Nice, just good run though, good run. Figuring it out a little bit. So we do kind of actually want to jump across that section. Lost our contact a little bit there. Slowed us down, but might be able to come back here at the end. Yeah, we want to go, I'm thinking a little bit wider through that section so that we can maintain more speed into the finish. Go straight up that as much as possible. A little bit wider here. Nope. Okay. This might actually be kind of a tough one. Not usually a fan of the slopey tracks, but this one isn't too bad. What up, Alex? Good to see you, mate. How was your Tuesday? Oh, nice. There we go. Boom! Huge. Maintained a bunch of speed that time. Almost inside the top 50. So it seems like that definitely is the ticket there. We want to keep as much speed as we can through that last section across the dirt. Oof. Bonking the plastic. We want to kind of cut every corner as much as possible, but bad. Oof. I'm sorry, man. Yeah, I have not been having the greatest week. Been kind of sick. Feeling crappy. Maintaining our contact through all of that. Huge freaking difference. Oh, but we lost our contact there and all of our speed into the water, unfortunately. If you can possibly, you want to, of course, go straight into the water without bouncing off of the surface. Because if you bounce off of the surface, it reduces your contact all the way through. Oof. That last turn there is probably going to be the hardest part of this whole track. We'll maintain as much contact as we can here. Keeping our tires on the ground. Try to land straight there if possible. Your substitute teacher left. Oh no! Did you like the substitute better than the regular? Substitute teachers usually are cooler than your regular teacher, just because you don't have to deal with them as much, you know. And they always seem to be like in a better mood than everybody else, which is probably because they know that they're not going to have to be there for a while, so they can spoil you. Kind of like your grandma, you know. Your parents leave you at your grandparents for the weekend, and then your grandparents give you like a bunch of cookies and fatten you up and freaking let you do whatever you want. Watch as much TV as you feel like and play a bunch of video games, and then when you go home, your parents are all like, "What the hell? Why did you turn into such a monster?" Because he has to go to the high school for his new job. He's very nice to everyone. So very sad. Aw, I'm sorry, buddy. Yeah. But hey, at least now he's got a nice new job, huh? Good for him. Sucks that you lose your really nice substitute, but it's, you know, good for him that he's got a new job. That's a big deal. Want to try to maintain as much contact as we can through this water section. Aww. Or not really contact, but no slide as much as you can. It's you gotta turn really lightly through the water section to not slide. Water, of course. Do I mind backseating? Not entirely. Like, as long as you don't, you know, like, as long as you don't give away like crazy freaking shortcut or something, I guess, you know. Oh, nice. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, nice. Let's go. Oh my God. One away. Not gonna make it easy on me, of course. Dang it. Okay. I'm noticing, was that a magnet block there? In 5th grade. Looked like that might have been a magnet block, or it kind of interacted like a magnet block, though I didn't hear the wow 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 sound. Yeah, it kind of acts like a magnet block. Is that a magnet block? He's teaching seniors. Wow. That's quite the shift, going from teaching 5th graders to seniors. Okay, we go wide. And oh, dang it. We're gonna get in the top 50 before we move on with this one. Is there something that I'm missing here? TBN? Nerdo. When you head into the dirt, try not to head so straight. Come a bit more from the left so you're sliding less. Yeah. Yeah, that was... So go wider. Okay. Go wider. Okay. I was thinking something along those lines, but... So we can maintain more speed, that makes sense. Okay. Probably even wider than that, though. Oof. Bonking that corner again. Dang it. Okay, okay. So I need to go over and come back before I hit the dirt. Dang it. A little bit lower there. Maintain as much contact as we can. Contact there, and then come back. Oof. Ah, okay. We still need to go wider. It's kind of tough to go. I'm like scared to go too wide because I know the water's gonna make me slide. Closer to the wall. On the left turn. Through this section. Whoa, that was kind of an interesting landing I had there. Yo! That wasn't super pretty, but that was a pretty good improvement. Okay. That landing right there that I had was pretty interesting. Oh no. Okay, bye Alex. Thanks for hanging out for a minute. Dang it. Maintain our contact. We're deep into the top 50 now, but now that I got a little bit of pointers on this, I feel like I can do even better. Get really low through this section. Ah, dang. Would be getting that nose down actually is kind of good. Man, that landing that I had on my PB there was a little wicked. Ooh, just behind it. Appreciate that, man. Dang, landed a little sideways there. I can feel another improvement here. Oh, there we go, that's some speed. No, landed too sideways, slowed us down. You land at too much of an angle, and you like hit the rim of your tires, slows it down a lot. Sometimes you can go really steep though, and still maintain some speed. That really feels like a magnet block to me. Alright, well, we're gonna move on to the next one. I just want to get through these. Yeah, helped a lot, actually. Huge, great advice. Thank you, thank you. Trackmania by Awesome Duck, the one that did the mini golf track from last week. One moment. Apologize for that. All right, interesting the way they got it set up, like it's a derby, or not a derby, but like you're coming out of the garage in the pits. Interesting. So tech track, looks like we may need to go either super wide here. Yeah, okay. Oh, lost contact. This is gonna be a rough one. I'm not the greatest at tech. There's always got to be at least one demanding tech track. I had to release a lot there. I'm assuming probably a little bit of a drift is going to be required through that. Drifting kind of scares me, not gonna lie. But we managed to get the author medal. That is the short-term goal. Want to get inside the top 50 in Oregon, of course. At least that. Ooh, yeah, okay. Need to drift a little bit sooner. Right. Much faster that time. Still not a huge improvement, but that was a better run. Okay, there we go. A little bit more speed again. Had to release, but we're much ahead. Nice, almost a full second improvement that time. Little by little, we're getting better and better. Yeah. Yeah. Need a better angle into that dirt. I'll figure it out off stream. I try to, you know, just get kind of like an average run on stream and do like the real work off stream. Because like with the weeklies, because of the fact that, you know, like the checkpoint or the records are all secret and stuff, like I personally feel like it honestly is against the spirit of the game to, you know, share the shortcuts with the community or whatever. Like, it's about you figuring it out for yourself. Like, I feel like if the freaking records are hidden, you know, like going on a Discord and sharing your clips or whatever with your friends should be a bannable offense. I mean, maybe that's extreme, but like, I just feel like it's just totally against the spirit of the game. Like, sometimes you'll see like everyone in the top 5 does this crazy thing, you know, where like they freaking bonk off of the top of a checkpoint and like through a freaking piece off of the map and then into the finish, when it's like there is no possible way more than maybe 1 or 2 people figured that out on their own, you know. Like, you know that they only got that because somebody shared it on the freaking Trackmania Champions Discord or whatever. I don't even know if that's the thing, I just made it up, but I just feel like that's like just, I don't know, unsportsmanlike in a way. I understand not everybody feels that way, and that's just me, but I try not to like give away anything too crazy on stream. Like, if I find a world record strat or something like that on stream, which I have a couple of times, you know, then I guess can't really do much about it. But I try not to I try not to give away too much if I possibly can. I feel like everybody should have the opportunity to figure it out for themselves. Dang it. That last turn is tough. So we want to go early up this one if we can. And then we drift there. And just a little bit more. Dang, 6 thousandths. We were so close. This is going to be a tough one for me. Like I said, I'm not great at tech. And I definitely am not doing this optimally, I'm thinking. Oh, oh, nice, there we go. It wasn't a drift, but, oh, dang, wow. That was a big improvement as far as placements are concerned. Almost inside the top 50. Try to keep as much speed as we can through that section. Not quite going fast enough to drift there. Or maybe I just wasn't at the right angle. Or maybe a combination of both, to be honest. Dang. I do like the aesthetic of this track, though. I play a lot of Forza, so I like the look of the, you know, like the regulation style. Makes it feel a little bit more realistic. Trackmania is definitely kind of an arcade game. as far as racing. Oh, I actually got a drift there. Whoa, dang. Okay, I should have released that much earlier. I suck at drifting in this game. This first hill section right here, probably the roughest for me. 3 minutes of ads, holy crap. Sorry about that. Yeah, I have them set to only run once per hour. I hate getting bombarded with ads like every 15 minutes. I figure it's better to have one big chunk of ads than several minute-long sections of ads or something, you know? I feel like the less breaks, the better. I could just turn them off entirely, but... I suppose it is a choice. I apologize. Thank you for sticking around, though. So they don't do pre-rolls. Yeah. Yeah, I had, in order to not do pre-rolls, like, I have to do at minimum 3 minutes per hour. And so I decided to just do 3 minutes once an hour. Like I said, I feel like it's much better to have less breaks. The less breaks, the less chances somebody's gonna decide that they don't want to watch anymore. Because the way that I feel, like, I'm terrible. I don't watch a lot of other people's streams. I do sometimes, but if I get hit with an ad like every freaking like 10 minutes or something like that, like, I'm just gonna leave. Like, if I can just skip it entirely or whatever, like, every time that I get hit with an ad, like, is a chance that I'm just gonna nope out, you know? So it kind of like goes off of like my own personal experience. I really feel like just having one big block of ads once an hour is much better than a bunch of little tiny ads here and there. Whoop. Oh, dang it. This one's tough. This uphill section is definitely the hardest part for me. Because, like, you gotta hit that angle just right. Keep all of your speed there. Nice, okay. And then a little bit of a drift. Too much of a drift. Lost contact with the road because it goes back downhill there. Oof. Catching airtime. Struggle on this, yeah. This is a tough one. If it was, like, if the car was more like an actual Indy, I might have less problems with it. Because, like I said, I actually play a lot of Forza. So this is, like, this style is actually one that I'm pretty familiar with. But with the Trackmania Stadium car, it's just different. Like, the way that this car moves is just way different than a real car. Like, it's like I said, it's definitely got much more of an arcadey feel to it. See, we want to go wide slightly and then come back in, I'm thinking. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Try to maintain our speed if we can through that section. Drift there. I hit the grass. Crap. We want to avoid the caution strip if we can too, I'm thinking. It kind of almost forces you to release, because you're like just barely going fast enough to drift, and you have to be at the right angle to initiate a drift. That's the other thing. This game is very strict about its, like, the drifting. You have to be at, like, the perfect angle and the perfect momentum. It's a tough one. Oof. And you don't want to be too far to the inside, or otherwise you launch off the end. Yeah. There we go. Ah. I feel like this track is built to kind of force you to drive more like a real car, because you wouldn't drift in a real car. You would actually brake. So I kind of feel like it's built intentionally to make you do that. Like actually brake instead of try to drift around it. Oh man. That was really close. It's like you don't quite get going fast enough to drift around this first turn here. Oh, I lost a lot of speed there. Okay. Nice. Yo, yes, okay. Little bit of an improvement. We take that. 3 spots in Oregon. We're almost up to the top 50. Yeah, this is a tough one. So it really, I want to say, like, that is probably the key here, is like, think of it like a real release. You would hit the brakes and probably release a little bit into the corner instead of trying to drift it, because you wouldn't drift an Indy car, at least not intentionally. You could, but it would be scary. Indy cars are not built for drifting. Oof. A Neo slide on the first turn. Okay. Yeah, Neo slides are tough. If you can get the inside sliding and the outside full contact. And that makes sense, actually. Almost actually got it to activate there. It's pretty tough to get a Neo slide to activate. I get Neo slides pretty regularly, but only if it like activates naturally, you know? Like sometimes you'll just go around a corner and it'll just do it. Like it almost did it right there. Oof. Do a small drift in the last corner. Yeah. Damn. Yeah, this is a tough one. This may be one that I'm just gonna have to freaking figure out off stream. I feel like I'm struggling a little bit here. Go tight into the corner. Damn. Nice. Oh, so close. Yeah, that's a tough one. Definitely a tough one. There's really a lot of nuance to that one. Like, that first turn, because of the way that it like has like that double hill or whatever, double arch kind of almost, it really wants to kind of just throw you off of the road. So you got to come back at the right angle. This one's interesting. This is our Pathfinder track for the week. Broken Pagoda. Interesting. Okay. Tranquil. Okay. Right, so if we can go here and launch ourselves up there for a nice straight line to that checkpoint, if possible. Go really wide and come back this way. There we go. Oh, but we didn't have enough speed to catch that downhill, unfortunately. So there's only one checkpoint? Wait, where's the finish? Is that the only finish? It is the only finish. Oh, okay. I don't hate this, actually. Okay, so if we hit that booster, take that checkpoint, and then kind of launch ourselves into the finish from this one. Let's give that a try. Booster, the wood, that was rough. Up this hill, also rough. Jeez. Ride that lip, and we don't have quite enough speed to launch ourselves. Hopefully that's off their metal at least. Dang, silver. Wow, okay. Huh. Interesting. So if we go here. I feel like this actually might be one of the better paths. Whoops. Wood. Wood always throws me off. I don't love wood. Wood and ice are probably my least favorite platforms, like, just altogether. Thank you, man. Thanks again for the raid. Huge shout out to the Bald Nerd over on Twitch. TH3 Bald Nerd. Check him out. He's a fun guy. Appreciate you, man. Have a good night. Tranquil. So we're gonna go this way. We go back across this way. Go. That angle. There we go. That wasn't too bad. Oh. Wow, I'm dumb. Okay, okay. So we go down here. Catch this, go back across here. Dang it. Want to get that downhill as nice as possible. There we go. Beautiful downhill. We catch the... Okay, nice. That was way easier than I was making it seem. Greatly appreciate you, man. Once again, check out the Bald Nerd. much contact as we can there. Want to get a nice straight uphill section. If we can go straight up that hill would be the best. Ooh. Launched. Let's see. If we go around here, through there, and then, nope, slow. Okay. Oh, something I found out is you can get kind of a tail bug. We all know about nose bugs, but you can get a tail bug if you have your back, like if you land on a section with your back tires, you can redirect yourself almost in a straight line from like off of your back tires. I was, a few weeks ago, I was doing a hunt with some viewers and accidentally did it going down a hill section where my front tires came up but my back tires were still touching, and I actually tossed myself like almost straight to the right. Oh wow, top 10 in Oregon? Damn! Okay, so the right side is the better path, it looks like. See how I just did that off of my back tire? Like, it doesn't make sense because like your back tires don't turn, but if you touch your back tires, you can redirect yourself off of just that. Let's try to go this way. Let's see what happens. Not great. Okay. Going through the right side is the better option, it looks like. Almost. You want to get a nice downhill after that checkpoint too, so definitely a combination of stuff going on here. There we go, nice downhill, early to the right with the booster. So we want to, or with the reactor, we want to try to cut around the edge of that building as much as possible. Whoa. Oof. Alright, well, we already made it into the top 10 on Oregon, so I'm not sure how much more I want to try to improve this, but I think we found possibly the most optimal route here. Oof. That's tough. You gotta get just the right angle through there. Get that downhill. Go around that. Yeah. All right. Well, we got ourselves top 10 in Oregon on that one, like really quick. So I think we're gonna hold on to that. We might do a little bit. I mean, I will do some hunting off stream on that one, but that's probably the best that we're gonna get for that one now. And actually, we're gonna give that one a thumbie. I do enjoy that track. I don't remember if I gave a thumbie to the mini golf track from last week, but I will have to go back and do that. This is track 4, Liminal Firmament. Another tech track, speed tech even. My least favorite. Speed tech transitional. Oh my god. Transitional speed tech is probably... Oh my... Probably the worst possible thing that it could be for me. Just personally, I am bad at this combination of stuff. Just 3 checkpoints. Oh man. There's finish lines everywhere randomly. Thankfully, it's mostly in a straight line. You'd almost call this like a 2x, like a 2x120 or something. Ah. What up, Justin? Love the new, picture, by the way. Profile picture. Oh. Okay. Finally, at least made it to the end there. Yay, we do get the author medal. Woohoo! 130 in Oregon. This may be one where I'm not barely... If I break the top 100, that's probably going to be doing good for me. Oh, I released. How you doing this terrible Tuesday? I was going with tantalizing earlier, but I don't know what's tantalizing about this Tuesday. It just felt right to say. Or felt fun to say, I should say. Cold. Yeah, it was freaking cold last night. It is cold today too. We've had fog, like freezing fog, for like the last 4 days. It just set in and it has not gone away. So like everything's all freaking covered in what looks like snow, but it's just literally like a layer of ice that's just frozen onto everything. It's kind of wild. Okay, we're gonna check something else, or check something out here at the end, because it looked like if we go to the left before the finish, we might be able to skip. I don't care about my speed right now. Yes, okay. There's a slow-mo there. We can skip that slow-mo. That would clearly make a huge difference. The goal here is to keep contact as much as possible. And it's tough because of the way that it goes back and forth and the road recedes away from you at every freaking turn, literally. Yeah, even just that was a 0.2 improvement. That gets us in the top 100. Never was a winter person. You know, a lot of people say that. A lot of people I know say that, I should say. I do enjoy winter a bit, but I like the snow. I don't really love the cold as much as everything else, but I do enjoy the snow, and we have had literally 0 snow this year, so like, what's even the point of having winter if you don't get snow? Jeebus. Whoa. Oh my God. Fogging hell. You enjoy the tropical climate? I get that. Yeah, I lived in Florida for a while. I did not enjoy that. In fact, I enjoyed that much less than the dry desert climate that I live in. So much humidity, man. Just constantly sweating. Freaking overwhelming heat. Like, it was not fun. I did not enjoy it at all. I was there during the summer, so it was like 83 degrees, I think, was like the low for the entire 3 or 4 months that I was there. Winter can't stop you from eating ice cream. That's hilarious. I know some people that'll eat ice cream year round, or like smoothies. I love fruit smoothies. I'll have a fruit smoothie any time of year for sure. All right, we got 32 in Oregon. Holy crap, that was much better than I was expecting. I wasn't even really paying attention when I got that run too. Freaking yammering at chat. Starting to kind of figure out this track though, so. The guy who wears hoodie in 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Yeah, same. I used to wear a hoodie pretty much year round. I mean, to be fair though, like, you look at like you know, in like Saudi Arabia or like, you know, desert countries and stuff like that, like Africa, they wear full body covering black for a reason, because it absorbs the heat and it wicks it away from your body. You actually stay cooler under that. People don't understand it. Why are you wearing a sweater? It's freaking 80 degrees outside. Like, yeah, it's 80 degrees outside. Like, it like, this hoodie is shading me from all of that heat. You know what I mean? People just don't get it. At least Americans, we've been so far removed from like our European ancestry that we just don't understand that at all anymore. Okay, I am starting to kind of enjoy this track. I'm getting it a little bit. Whoop! Whee! Doing sports. Damn gecko. Need infrared lights in the way. That's so funny. Yeah. No, when I was in football doing, doing like mile runs and stuff like that for warm-ups, I didn't wear hoodies then. No, definitely not. Oh, this track is dangerous. Oh man, this is really a dangerous track. Okay, that's real water. All right. That actually could be good though on sand. Dang. That turns rough. Oof. Alright, well, we keep going. We want to see where it goes from here. Love to wear your jacket in the summer. See? It's totally just a natural thing. You're not the only one. Justin agrees. What the frick? That's an author medal? Oh my god, this track is ridiculous, dude. 5 checkpoints though? There's so much zoop potential, like at literally every turn. Go lurk. That's a Pokemon. Go lurk. Thanks for hanging out, man. Whoop. See, right there, right there. Okay, that wasn't great, but I mean, it was a zoo. It was something. Fur part is the best part. Yeah, I like fuzzy jackets. Thankfully, this is the last track. I apologize, but I am going to have to get off of here soon because I am not feeling great. It's starting to set in. I can feel pressure building in my ears. Dang, dude. That turn's probably the worst. Man, this whole track. Okay, there we go. Yep. What, did you stick your arms out in front of you and freaking arch your butt up in the air like a cat? Like, is that what you mean? It's awkward. Whoop. This track sucks. I hate this track. This is probably the worst track this week. Jesus. Here. God dang it. Oh my god, dude. Oh, hey, pyramids. Virtual's probably gonna freaking grind this one. Just because there's pyramids. Oh my god, dude. This track is trash. Giza landfill, bro. I mean, it's not even that far off. There's like random freaking bones and piles of rock and ruined freaking buildings all over the place. Just hit the hill in the first line. Well, yeah, I mean, you could, and you'd go straight through like the third checkpoint, but you skip 2 checkpoints. You totally could though. Like, that's actually not like, it's totally a thing you could do, but you wouldn't be able to complete the track. Ridiculous. I'm guessing you're probably supposed to go around that to the right and then come back. Like you're supposed to go this way and then go through the finish like that. For sure, man. I'm probably gonna call it there. I appreciate everybody for hanging out. I had a lot of fun today. Thank you once again for the Bald Nerd for hitting it up with the raid over on Twitch. If you're watching on YouTube and you would like to see the full screen content, head on over to Twitch. Links are down in the description. We also got some affiliate codes and other stuff going on down there. Started a new Patreon. Nothing happening over there yet. We don't have any members, so once we get a couple of members, we'll start working on some Patreon content. But as it stands, that's basically all I have for you today. I am not feeling the greatest. I have been struggling to keep from like all kinds of nastiness just on stream. So I thank you guys once again for being here. We will be back tomorrow for some Luigi's Mansion. Yes, we will be getting back into the Luigi's Mansion action. So yeah, definitely do come back for that. Hit that follow, like, and or subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you once again. Stay safe, stay warm, because it's freaking getting real cold out there. And as always,